Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to another episode from me, Avomance, in my seed tours and reviews series. Last time we were in this really awesome seed. If you've not seen it, the link will be in the description below, or at least the playlist will be. Thank you, Hadat, for this one. Really enjoyed looking at this one. It was fabulous. It was absolutely spawner-tastic. Brilliant. This next one, I'm told, is a bit different again. Let's crack on. And as always, we are going to create this one together. IRuleThisKingdom is the seed, but this is the world name. Don't forget, you've got to come into the seed bit and pop it in there. Otherwise, you are going to have a world of hurt because you're going to get a random one and not the one we're about to look at. So, cracking onto this, let's see what it looks like. Now, remember, if you create a seed below 112, the seed generation is different, so it won't necessarily work. So, 112 upwards for this one, please. Works all the way up to 115, though, and we're coming in 115. And what do I have around me? We've got a plains biome, but oh, look, I like that. Let's just turn that around and have a look at this. This is a nice little covey area there. I'm going to have a good investigation of that. But before we do that, as always, I've got to build myself a nice stone pillar. Otherwise, I won't know where I am. Let's get on with it. Okay, we're on top of our pillar. The world is kind of generating around us as we go. So we've got mountains in this direction. We've got some sea, or another really nice covey mountainy bit there. I like that a lot. We've got a swamp over there and more mountains. And what looks like the tiniest little frozen biome I've ever seen in my life. But that still counts because you can still get some ice from it. Also, I noticed down there, you've got an open bit of, if I just come down, you can see an open bit of coal, which means you can instantly get yourself 4 torches. I know it doesn't sound like much, but if you saw my first Avomancia episode, I was gagging for that, and I forgot that you could burn wood. It was 2.5 years ago, for goodness sake. But there you go, you've got that open. Which way is north? North is in this direction. So I'm going to crack off in north, and we're going to see what we can't find. So right next to spawn in the north, we've got a massive tiger biome. Massive. It's huge. And we've also got a little tiger village here, it looks like, which is always nice to come across. Tiger villages are probably my favourite just because of the way they look. Look, this little fella with his eye patch. Hello, mate. I'm loving your uniform. But so little tiny tiger village. So, oh no, it's not that tiny. We've got a few people around here as well, actually. You could blatantly relocate some of these villagers and use them in your spawn area if you wanted to use the initial spawn area that you had off there. And all it looks like to the left slightly, we've got ourselves a dark forest. Plenty of mushrooms there if you want to collect your mushroom blocks. It's not a very big dark forest, but it's big enough. Tiny little plains area there. You could perhaps build in if you wanted to just put a little base there. Coming into a birch forest. So we're cramming right the way through our woods at the moment and into a swamp right behind. Right, now let's have a look at the swamps because I do like a good swamp. Does this swamp lend itself to the kind of swamp that I like a swamp to be swampy-like? No, it doesn't. Unfortunately, this swamp is very landy. There's a lot of land. I mean, I suppose you could arguably just about get away with doing a little starter slime farm in this bit here, but it's not fabulous. This bit over here might be a little bit better. Actually, no, I take it back. You could do it all right here. That would be okay. If you come right out to the furthest reaches of the swamp, you can see where the water changes its colours. You could probably get yourself quite a decent little, farm there for your slimes. We've got a wreck, which is always great, and coming into a desert biome with another dark oak forest to just the side of it. Doesn't look like a massive, I'm going to eat my words in a minute. It doesn't look like a massive desert, but plenty of sand there to get all your glass that you want to be building. And a savanna. Savanna wood too. So we've got acacia. The only wood we've not got so far is jungle. I think we've got oak. We've got dark oak. We've got birch. Yeah, I think the only wood we're missing now is jungle. Oh, coral! We've got some coral, which means you can collect up your sea pickles. Is this the same desert? No, different desert, lapping around. So you've got a tiny little coral reef, and this really is a tiny little coral reef, this one. Look, it's tiddly. But enough to be able to get yourself a few sea pickles. And, look at that. Right in front of us, we have got a pillager outpost. We've got loads in the north, haven't we? Straight out. There we go, pillager outpost right there, which means that you can come and maybe build yourself a little pillager farm. That would be quite good. That laps onto another tiger biome, which is not as big as the first one, but still is quite sprawling. And over here, Over here, shall we attempt it just one more time? Over here, we've got a flower forest biome. Now, looking for bees. You know what I'm like at looking for bees. The last couple, I've been rubbish, and the comments have been absolutely spammed with, for goodness sake, Avo, there was a ton of bees that you just missed. So I'm just going to wander slowly through the forest here. Just see, that's a bee! I've got a bee. There we go. I found you straight away. Bees are plenty in this flower forest right here. All right, I like North. North is already really, really good. We've got another plains biome over the side of it here, and I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. Back on my stone pillar, and North is that way. What I haven't actually mentioned is where you spawn is quite a nice, not a massive plains, but a fairly decent sized plains. If you wanted to build a base here, it actually really, really lends itself. And if you couple it with that really great rock formation there, and that really quite nice rock formation over there, that covey, you could make something that looked, quite frankly, splendid. That's a word that doesn't get used often enough, you know. Splendid. It will look fabulous. You've got wood, you've got mountains for mining, you've got all sorts. I like it. In fact, in terms of the actual spawnability of this, I think that this is one of the better spawn areas in terms of it being ready for you to play that we've been on so far. Brilliant. Right, so let's just 90 degrees to the left, and we're going to come out past this nice big cove area here. That could definitely have something done to it. You could do something fab. Coming out over the ocean. So what's the ocean got for us? It's only a little bit of ocean. Does it come onto land a little bit quickly? We've got a little ocean ruin there that's out in the open, which means that any drowns that spawn there are going to burn up. I do feel terrible for them, if they've not got their feet wet at least. And it takes us... we've got more icy ice over here. This is what you need, right? So we've got Silk Touch Pick in hand. You can have as much ice as you could possibly require over here. Now, often you get a few wrecks in these places, so no doubt I won't be able to see them, but there could be... Actually, this is quite a big ice field, isn't it? It's quite a decent sized one. I quite like that. Very cool. Right, anyway, so now we've come into a snowy taiga, which is different from a normal taiga in that it's got snow. And also, the foxes are white. So if you see any foxes in this area, there'll be little white foxes rather than little red foxes, which is just nice if you're collecting your animals. It's always good to have a little bit of a difference. We've got another swamp. Now this swamp, unlike the other one, has got far less land. So you could end up with a few more slimy slimes there. Probably I would use this little peninsularite type thing there. Light up a little bit around the edges. But that would work really, really rather well. You've got a little ravine here that will let you down into the depths, and then you've got another snowy plains over here. Is that and a sunflower plains? So that's yet another biome. We're blatting through the biomes, aren't we? So many biomes right next to spawn. That's brilliant. So this is obviously the frozen bit. The east is frozen, and so you could, if you wanted to do yourself a little snowy type of base. Actually, you've not got very far to come to be able to do it on this snowy plains. And right on the edge is a normal plains, little tiny normal plains with a village in it. So you could steal villagers and pretend that, you know, they never actually existed. Tell their families, you know, it's okay, forget them, they never were there. And then you get into a giant taiga biome. Look at this little tiny swamp, Tiddly Swamp. Have you ever seen a swamp that big? That's the smallest swamp in evidence ever. Brilliant. A giant taiga biome. It's massive. Look at this. So podzol are plenty. You can get loads and loads of spruce. You're not going to know, I can't even talk. You're not going to know what to do with all of the spruce over here. That's brilliant. Coming further east, we've got very tiny little ice biome there, little icebergs with a wreck there. So it's always good to go treasure hunt with a wreck. We've got a little village. It's not that big, but you've got a church. You've not got any major buildings. It's only tiddly. But what you do have is a massive plains. It's a big, big plain. So if you wanted to shift your base just a little bit, you could shift it to this because you've got lots of area. You could even clear out this forest if you wanted to extend the plainsy look. And after that, we come to another small ocean biome with a swamp to the right and some hills to the left. So some people like building up on an elevation, so the hills might be a good option for you. It's fairly flat topped, so could lend itself to a decent base. It's quite easy to build in that sort of area. We've again got another big old plains here with another swamp to the left that is almost completely water. I love these swamps. Have I mentioned that before? I don't know if I've ever mentioned it before, but I love a big old swamp that is essentially water and no land. And look at me zero in on this really rubbish looking little hut right in the middle of the swamp. This fella is a witch hut. That means you can build yourself a nice double bubble farm, witch hut, slime farm, AFK in the middle, and you are golden. More ice. How much ice do you need, for goodness sake? We're heading south now over the mountains just by spawn. Now this is a nice big mountainous area, which means under the ground there'll be loads of really, really good mining, of course, as well. But if you want to live at elevation, you could build yourself a really nice castle on that. But the other side is hidden away a really nice little forest here. I like that. You've got loads of trees. You're never going to be short of wood with this seed. We've pretty much got most of the biomes that you could ever want. The only one we've not found so far is jungle, and you never know your luck, we might trip over one. Over here we've got a little bit more sea. It's quite oceany, isn't it, this place? I quite like it when it's oceany. Plenty of kelp, more kelp than you can shake a kelpie stick at. But the wood just carries on. More swamp and more coral. Now, is this a bigger coral reef, or is it just a tiddly one like the other one? This looks like it's quite small. It looks like even smaller than the last one. But again, if you want to propagate your sea pickles, this is a place. Come and get yourself some coral with your silk touch, get some sea pickles, and you'll be able to grow some up. Ever so slightly further, just another 100 blocks, another witch hut, which actually is also in the middle of the water. So you could actually build up yourself a witch / slime farm here, where the 2 points are maybe a little bit closer and you might be able to get a better yield. That'd be quite good. In fact, you could AFK over the top of the witch hut and maybe put your iron golem podems all around the witch hut and get both. Would that work? I don't know. Someone try it and let me know. That'd be interesting. Big old desert just past that, and another load of mountains. These are almost extremes, these fellas. Look, that's a big old fella right at the top there. Interesting cave formation, and we've got more ocean the other side with more coral. Actually, what I thought was just a tiny little bit of coral, we've now managed to find an absolute ton of coral. If you're into your corals, this fella's not bad. 3 separate small coral reefs for you. Heading west from spawn now across this much larger ocean area, and you've got a big plains with a little shipwreck just on the edge of it there, which is quite nice. Really, really big plains, in fact. You could join up, look, so there's the spawn just over there. You could join up that plains with, I don't know, with maybe a bridge, a bit like I've got on Avomance here, over onto this plains and extend your base even further. That would work really, really well, I think. You've got really interesting stone formation over here as well. I quite like the way that mountain has worked. It's kind of got a nice hole through it. You could make a feature of that potentially. That's quite nice. But the ocean just continues on. And what we got over the other side, we've got a dark oak forest just coming into play here on the edge of this. You know, it'd be very tempting to actually build a word on this and have a bridge come across, because the dark oak forest is kind of drawing me in a little bit further. I must admit, that's quite nice. Another wreck inside this cove here. So maybe your main base would be in this area here with the nice big cove, your wreck, your dark oak forest next to the plains. Lots of different opportunities. Coming further out to the west, and we've got another really big, and I mean really, really big flower forest. Look at the size of it. It's absolutely massive. Do I push my luck and see if I can't find a buzzy again? Can you imagine 2 for 2? That would be like pocket ace. Hey! I was going to say pocket aces. And look at that. We've only got another one. I found it straight away. Flower forests, they're the boss, aren't they? That's absolutely the boss. Brilliant. I love that. You've got a little kind of nice little watery area there coming in with this meandering river that comes through it. If you like doing bases in flower forests, this is absolutely beautiful. Worth noting here, there's a bee's nest on a birch tree. I didn't think they could do that. Obviously they can. Maybe only in the flower forest. Don't know. I've got night vision on and I'm in spectator mode, so I'm about to give you spoilers. If you don't want to know what's under the ground, turn and avert your eyes now, because we are going down in 3, 2, 1. I've peaked too early. Nearly there. And we're under. Oh, I fluffed it that time, didn't I, a little bit? We've got loads of ravines. This is ravine-tastic. Look at that. Got a ravine over there. Got a ravine over there. Got loads of cave systems there you could explore. What I've noticed, though, for the first time in ages, there isn't a mine shaft at all. He says. All right, not directly under us, maybe, but there was one just a peekaboo in just over here. It's not that far. I'll take it back. We've got a mine shaft. Of course we've got a mine shaft. These seeds are amazing. But so what we got around this mine shaft, is it a very big mine shaft? I don't think it's that big. It does stretch out a little bit though, doesn't it? Look, coming out this way. I seem to be under it as opposed to over it because it's under the water. Look at that. How often do you find it's literally just under the water? I'm just going to pop up that there, to the point where if you bash this here, this gravel, the water's going to pour in. That's quite unusual. We've got a couple of spawners here. Are they close enough to do a double? I wonder. Yeah, I reckon that is definitely close enough to do a double spawner there. That one's there. That one's there. If you AFK'd here, they would both definitely work. So you've got a half decent mine shaft, not too far away, but really unusual because it is under that water. Now, what that does mean, of course, if you do some kind of farmage, if you light up underneath, it's right under, can you see? Right under where that tiny, tiny little frozen area is. If you light up under there, because it's under the water, that means the surface isn't going to be spawning any mobs. So if it's under here, then you're going to get the best possible mobbage that you can possibly get. Very nice. Anything else interesting here? It's very, very, very full of ravines. Superb ravinage. Look at that. Is that the same one or is that a different one? I think that might be the same one, but there's another spawner right there as well. Another spawner right there. Is that another double? Yes, definitely. That one's a double. That's only about 10 blocks apart, that one. That's brilliant. So you've got two double spawners. Very, very close to each other, actually. You could do a little run so you could get both of them working. Very nice. Now, before I go into the Nether, I've just done a quick locate to see where the interesting stuff is. So the nearest monument, because we didn't find a monument, but what you got to remember, I'm going north, south, east, and west. I'm not really going northeast, northwest, southwest, or southeast so much. So if you go out in the diagonals, you're going to find stuff that I didn't. We have got a monument that is only 1,705 blocks away. That's not that far, but you'll notice it's just off of the north, south, east, west direction. In fact, all of these things pretty much are. Nearest desert pyramid is actually quite a long way away as far as desert pyramids go. It's nearly 2,000 blocks. The jungle pyramid is just over 4,000 blocks, so there is a jungle within about 4,000 blocks of here, which is really good news because that's the only wood that we didn't have, if you remember. The nearest stronghold, that's less than 2,000 blocks away from the nearest stronghold, literally in a diagonal from spawn, minus 1448 to minus 1480. It's a literal diagonal. And the mansion, miles away. Absolutely miles away at 22,000 blocks. A very, very long way away. But hop, skip and a jump in the Nether. Remember, in 1.15, you can travel on the Nether roof and get the portals working. It's all different. It's interdimensional time. Now, I'm putting the Nether portal literally what's probably only about one block in the Nether away from our spawning post. So let's light this puppy up and let's get through this bad boy. And we have opened up, looking up directly. Always look straight up. Whoa! Always look straight up when you come into the Nether for the first time, because you don't know when lava is going to fall in your head. Imagine if we'd have come over there, that would have been really dangerous. Now, as it showed you there, the ghast is absolutely going to possibly be jumping on your face as soon as you walk through this. So do be cautious when you come through, because it is utterly ghastable. But let's just have a little look. We've got an easy walk. What's quite nice with the Nether, sometimes you spawn into the Nether and you're literally encased in netherrack and you have to dig your way out. But in this one, it's nice and open so you can have an explore. And look, literally, portal, Nether fortress, portal, Nether fortress. I didn't even need to do a /locate on this fella. Look at this. It is right here. Now, there is a bit of rockage going around it, but you've got your blaze spawner literally within sight of your portal, which is brilliant. You can get a blaze farm cracking right on there. That's superb. And then coming up here, what else have we got to find? We've got plenty of structure, and it carries on. There's another blaze spawner there, so that's the second one. Now, we all know, what do I like? What do I like to find? I like to find things that are all warty. I like warty things. So let's see if we can't find the Nether wart, because that is what I want from this Nether fortress. Well, I searched and searched and searched and searched, and that fortress does not have any Nether wart. I had a little cry, and my tears evaporated the second they left my eyes because we're in the Nether. But then I went 300 blocks to the east. Boom! We found another one, and it has got one. So I feel much better about myself now. There is one more seed tour. Seed tour number 22. Now, I really like this seed. Is it the best seed in the world that we've ever seen for all of the natural growths, like lots of villages around, or 150 monuments, or 7,000 spawners? No, frankly, it is not that great on that front. But look at where you spawn in. Look at the build potential. look at how you can use this area to grow your base. And actually, the things you need aren't that far away. And as a result, I genuinely do believe it is a decent seed. And I would absolutely build a survival world on here just because of the geography and the topography of where you actually start in the world. So as a result of that, Mrs. Head Splitter C22 is yours. Thank you very much for sharing it. I'm really, very grateful. And I hope that a number of people come and enjoy. I mean, that rock formation, look at it, it's brilliant. I hope a number of people come and enjoy your seed as well. If you've got a really, really good seed that you think is either really great for building on, or has got amazing loads of spawners, or is fantastic for 115, or is just superb because the stronghold is right underneath it, whatever the reason, make sure you send me an email to avomance@gmail.com. That's avomance@gmail.com. Let me know what's so great about it. Give me a little description, little narration of what you think's really, really good. Maybe put some coordinates, that would help me out a lot as well. And perhaps you too can appear in one of these series. If you have enjoyed this video, please do remember to slap that like button. It'd be great to know you're enjoying it, and I will keep on making them. Also, if you've not done it already, you're very naughty, but please do hit that subscribe button. It'd be great to see you in my sub club, and I look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.